Hi, I'm Sheila. Welcome to our outdoor yoga session. So as you can see, I'm outdoors. Our focus today is on taking time to notice the beauty around us. So today's practice, we'll start on the mat, we'll move to standing, and then we're going to go in a circular flow where we use all ends of the mat and we move around, and it allows us just to take time to notice the beauty that's around us. So a couple things. As you notice, I'm practicing outside today. So if you have an opportunity to grab your yoga mat and go outside to a lawn, to a park, that would be awesome. If you want to take your yoga mat and go near a window where you can see the beauty that's around you outside, you can do that as well. Or you can stay inside and use your mind to visualize those natural outdoor spaces that give you joy, where you find beauty, and maybe you can listen to a few of the birds while we're practicing together. So go ahead and get your things ready for today's practice. All you need is your yoga mat or some surface that works for that yoga mat. I always have a block with me, so if you like practicing with a block or you have something at home that you like to use in place of the block, that's great. Also, a blanket is an option, or a towel, right? Anything like that. If you're on your knees and you like a little extra padding under there. I have a kind of a thick mat today, but I am on top of concrete, so it just depends on what your surface is, so make sure that works well for you. Most importantly, when we practice, right, it's making the practice your own. It's finding what you need today, what your mind needs, what your body needs, and making that happen for you. So as I offer suggestions today, I truly am just offering. It's your practice to take those suggestions and make them what they are and adapt it anytime. So speaking of which, as I mentioned, we're going to be going through a circular flow, an infinity flow, a mandala flow. You've probably heard it called lots of different things. So there will be a couple times, in order for you to see what I'm doing, my back will be to you, so I apologize for that in advance. The other thing I will mention is there will be opportunities at each end of the mat to go through a vinyasa. So in my classes, I like to think of a vinyasa as really that playtime. So you can, at that point, what that vinyasa does is brings us all back to a down dog or tabletop position. So if you like to come down and go to a high plank and a low plank, and you like to move through a traditional chaturanga, you can certainly do that on any of those options. I think there'll be about 5 of them. If you prefer to come down and come into a cow and cat, move through that, really enjoying the movement of that spine, and then meeting in down dog, awesome. You could move through a side plank, center, side plank, center. You could come right into a child's pose. Some folks like to hold in their high plank or their knees plank. So I look at that as not a traditional vinyasa in that maybe you think that's your chaturanga time. It certainly can be your chaturanga time, right? But the goal is that you use those times at the end of each mat to do whatever feels good for you. And like I said, you'll have about 5 of those, so they might be completely different at every time. And again, that's what is wonderful. One of my teachers was recently talking about how yoga started as an individual practice, right? So that is kind of the beauty of a video and at-home practice, because it truly is yours. It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. So again, focusing on taking time to notice the beauty around us. So as we prepare for a practice, if you need to pause and get your things out, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, we are going to go ahead and get started. So we are going to start on our backs on the mat, if that's a comfortable spot for you. If not, you can also start seated, and we can do many of those stretches. So go ahead, if you're going to be on your back, make your way down to the mat. When you practice outside, you always get lots of little visitors that join you on the mat. All right, so making your way down to the mat and just moving into a full body stretch as you allow yourself to settle into your breath Maybe you start with reaching the right hand and the right leg really long, and then you transition to reaching the left leg, the left arm really long, just getting that full stretch. Maybe transitioning to both arms, both legs, and then just softening down. So maybe the arms cactus, if that feels good, to open your chest. Maybe you soften your gaze or close your eyes. You could also heel toe your feet towards the edges of the mat and just let your knees float together. As you transition your mind and body into our practice, by allowing yourself to just settle into your breath, taking some slow inhales and slow exhales. And as you do that, maybe you turn your attention to the sounds that you hear around you, or the sounds that you hear in your practice. Or maybe you turn your attention to that spot in nature that brings you joy, that brings you beauty, and you hold that scene up in your mind as you just begin to breathe. Taking a few more slow breaths as you transition your mind to our practice. And then from here, as you're ready, slowly bringing the right knee and the left knee in towards the chest. Maybe you like to hug them in tightly towards the chest, or maybe you like a little more space, so you like to bring the knees to the outside of the rib cage. So just finding what feels good for you as you begin to start some movement back and forth, maybe a little rocking side to side if that feels good. Excellent. And then from here, we're going to hug the right knee in while we send the left leg up to the sky. And now, keeping the left leg slightly relaxed, we're just going to start with rolling of the ankles one direction and the other. Still some nice, slow, deep inhales and exhales. Maybe you point and flex the foot a little bit. Then maybe you let the foot become still and you bring the hand gently to the back of the calf or the thigh, just for a little bit of a hamstring. As we wake up that hamstring, we begin to wake up the whole body to the beauty around us. From here, we're going to bring our hands back to that right knee. Take a slow inhale in, if you will. And on that exhale, we're going to hug that low belly in and slowly lower that left leg to the mat. And let it relax. From here, with this right leg, we're just going to begin some gentle hip circles, opening up the hip. Maybe about 4 or 5. And then let's let that hip open all the way up into a tree position. So just letting it open up, opening our arms to that cactus position. Taking a few breaths. And then let's bring that hip back in, hug that knee in. Let's bring the left knee up to join it. And we're going to transition to the other side by sending the right leg up to the sky. And again, starting with those ankle circles, one direction, the other. Pointing and flexing. Excellent. Again, then maybe we'll let the foot come to stillness. Add a little bit of a gentle hamstring stretch, just very little. Again, taking some slow breaths. And then let's hug that left knee in, taking a slow inhale to prepare, and on the exhale, we'll just lower that right leg to the mat. And let that right leg release as we move into some hip circles with the left leg. And just moving in a way that feels good to you. And from there, placing that sole on the inside of the leg and just opening up to a cactus, a tree pose with cactus arms, allowing the chest to open. Taking a few breaths. And let's bring that knee back in. We're going to bring both feet into a bit of a bridge position. Okay, so we've got we don't need to have our heels too close to our glutes. We can have them more so that our heels are aligned underneath our knees or forward if that feels better. Excellent. And from here, we are just going to move into a slow bridge. So keeping the feet firmly planted. As you're ready, we're going to lift the hips up. Arms are released and relaxed. And we slowly open up into a bridge. Holding here for a few breaths. And releasing down. Now maybe you come up again into a traditional bridge, or maybe you choose to add rolling bridges where you bring the arms overhead as the hips come up, and then you bring the arms back to your side as you lower down. So just getting some movement, adjusting your feet as they feel comfortable. Save enough space as you lift those hips up. Again, either holding or moving through a few rolling bridges. And then let's slowly release down from whichever option you're choosing. Wakening up the spine a little bit more with the spinal twist. I'm going to move my block out of the way there. With my arms out to the side a little bit, I'm going to lift the hips up and I'm going to just send them to the right a little bit and let them come down. Extend the left leg long, and that right knee just comes across for a little spinal twist. Again, slowly awakening up the body. And then let's release that, come back to center, reset your spine. And then again, we'll pick up the hips, move them to the left a little bit, extend the right leg long, and let the left leg cross midline. Again, finding your spot. On either side, you can always add arm circles if you want to open up the arm shoulder area a little bit. That's an option. And then let's come back to center. Excellent. From here, we're going to bring the knees into the chest. Again, a little hugging side to side. And then let the knees come down to the mat. Bringing our hands behind our head. We're just going to, again, continue to wake up the body as we wake up the core a little bit by interlacing our hands behind our heads, lifting the head, neck, and shoulders up off the mat, and bringing the elbow and the knee closer together. So I'm starting on the right side. You can start on either. We're just tapping up and coming back down. I'm watching some birds fly overhead. Maybe one more. And then let the head, neck, and shoulders come down to the mat as we prepare to switch to the other side. So here we go. We hug in, we lift up. Nice and slow. Exhaling as we bring that knee and elbow closer together. They do not need to touch. How about two more? As we begin to build heat. And then release that foot down. Last one. Couple options to continue as we're doing, going back and forth. Or maybe you lift both heels off of the mat and you push out through the heels as you move side to side. Again, just wakening up the core, beginning to add some heat to our practice, moving in a way that feels good. And then after your next one, let's transition to that full body stretch. Excellent. Bringing the knees into the chest, we're gonna rock side to side a little bit, and then we're gonna rock and roll up to seated. So a couple options if you like to turn over to the side and come up to seated, or you like to do that rock and rolling on your spine, you can do that. And we're gonna meet up in seated, whichever way you prefer. Okay, so I have to tell you, I wish we had smella iPhone. I don't think that's a word. I wish we had an iPhone with where you were able to smell. We probably will sometime. I've got lavender right here. It's just lovely. So you all have experienced the scent of lavender. If that's a scent that feels good to you, go ahead and inhale that now, and know I am sending you some lavender, fresh lavender scents your way. The bees and I just love that. Okay, back to our practice. Let's go ahead. We're gonna come into a tabletop position. Again, this is a great time to put a little blanket under your knees if that feels good. And then let's go ahead and bring our knees under our hips, our wrists under our shoulders, or just slightly forward if that feels better for your wrists and compression with that. So choosing what you like. And then from here, let's begin some cows and cats. Inhaling as we soften the belly, lift the gaze. Exhaling as we pull the navel in towards the spine, finding all the length from the spine. And your option, maybe you move back and forth in your cows and cats, one breath per movement, or maybe you hold in one a little bit longer if your spine is craving that movement. And then let's go ahead and meet in a tabletop position, tucking your toes under if that's available, and just coming back on your heels for just a little bit as we stretch the arches of the feet. Get a nice stretch there. Excellent. Preparing for our down dog, getting into your position, tucking the toes under, sending the hips up and back, and beginning to pedal out your down dog. Feet are about hip distance apart. We're finding length in the spine. Excellent. And from here, let's begin to add a few down dog plank waves. So to do that, you can move on your own if you already have that wave movement in a way that you want. If you want a little cueing, I'm going to lift my heels up, bend the knees, and then I'm going to hug the low belly in and wave forward to a plank. I can also set my knees down at this point, and then I'm going to bend the knees and come back. So just finding this waving movement in the spine as we transition between down dog and high plank again, or knees plank, okay? So finding some movement. And then let's go ahead and meet in a high plank or a knees plank. Staying here a moment, adjusting your plank if you need to, hugging that low belly in. Awesome. From here, let's go ahead and just push forward. Let the knees come to the mat. Hug the elbows in as we slowly lower down to our mat. From here, we're going to transition through a few back bends, cobra options. So moving at your own pace, maybe you push into the mat, hug the elbows back, and lift up and lower down. Moving through a series of cobras. Maybe you'd prefer more of a Sphinx pose right now, where you bring the elbows under your shoulders and you stay in stillness. Or maybe your movement is such, one hand in the garden. I'm going to bring my hands outside of a mat, 10 the fingers, and come up into more of a wide cobra. You can also dip a shoulder if you'd like. I just heard one of my instructors call this dancing cobra, which was awesome. I love all the names we all come up with. So again, just finding the back bend that suits you right now. And as you're ready, placing those hands on the mat, coming back to a child's pose. Your version, maybe you like knees together, to start with, or maybe you want those knees towards the edges of the mat and you want toes touching. Either way, just melting down into your version of child's pose. Maybe you walk the elbows in a little bit so you can bring the palms together over your head, taking a moment to pause, to listen to the beauty around you. Even with your head facing down, noticing the sounds either you hear in your own environment right now or the sounds of the scene you'll put in your head. Taking a few breaths. Excellent. From here, we're going to transition back to some movement by bringing the knees in, coming back to our down dog. Awesome. From our down dog, let's look forward to our hands. Take as many steps as we'd like, coming into a forward fold, allowing for a good bend in the knees right now. And frankly, anytime in a forward fold, allow for that bend in the knees. Choosing to move into a ragdoll forward fold if you'd like a little movement side to side, maybe like walking your fingertips to the outside of one foot and then walking to the outside of the other, or you want to stay in stillness. Again, taking a few breaths. Whichever version you're in, let's come back to stillness. On your next inhale, go ahead and rise to your half lift. Hands to shins, thighs, the ground, whatever you prefer as we lengthen that spine. Taking a few breaths here. And then let's soften back to our forward fold. Again, inhaling as we rise to a half lift. Exhaling as we soften forward fold. From here, let's put a deep bend in the knees. Let's push into the earth. Pull the belly to the spine as we rise. Unfurling the arms, opening to cactus arms, inhaling as you reach, adding a little side bend either side, coming on back to center, side bending to the other side, back to center, and let's bring the hands through heart center, put a bend in the knees, and just come right back down to that forward fold. Inhale as you rise to your half lift, exhale as you soften and fold. Inhale as you bend the knees to prepare. On the exhale, let's really power into the earth. Feel the energy coming from the earth as we take all that energy up, reach up, looking up towards the sky, opening to cactus arms, inhaling high, adding a side bend. Let's come back to center, add a side bend, back to center, and let's go ahead and bring our hands through to heart center. Excellent. So great time to get a drink of water if you're like, especially anytime you practice, but you know, when you're outside and we're kind of steamy right now. I'm in Minnesota, but it's kind of like a steamy Florida thing going on. So please take time to drink water whenever you need. We are going to start with our flow. So we'll come towards the top of our mat. Again, as always, make this flow your own. So coming to mountain pose. Speaking of nature, finding the energy from mountain pose. Feet are firmly planted down. Shoulders are soft. Fingertips are alive and sparking. We've got our strong mountain pose. Taking a moment to breathe. Take in the beauty that is around us. From here, let's go ahead and bring our hands to heart center. Shifting the weight to our right foot. Let's go ahead and inhale as we lift the left leg up. On the exhale, stepping back to high crescent lunge or warrior one, your choice. Inhale as we unfurl the arms. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale as you prepare. On the exhale, let's take a slow extended side angle, just sweeping down, around, and up. Back to warrior two. From warrior two, we're going to inhale, bringing our arms and feet into 5-pointed star. Toes are out, heels are in. And then we're going to come down into a goddess or temple pose, sweeping between 5-pointed star and goddess This first round through will go a little more slowly, and then we'll move more to breath per movement. Let's meet in a 5-pointed star, opening up to the world around us. Let's go ahead and transition to Warrior 2 towards the opposite end of your mat. Let's flip the palm to reverse the warrior and back to Warrior 2. Moving to your extended side angle and back to Warrior 2. From here, we're going to cartwheel the hands down, frame the front foot, pick up the back heel, all 10 toes are forward, stepping back to your high plank, your knees plank, your tabletop, your child's pose. So moving through your vinyasa at this time, choosing the option that feels good to you. So this first one, I may come back to a cow and cat. You may choose something completely different, and we'll all meet in our down dog. Excellent. Meeting up in our down dog, let's look forward to our hands, take as many steps as we'd like, or hop into our forward fold. Inhale as we rise to our half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale as you bend the knees to prepare and push into the earth. Let's pull the belly to the spine as we rise. Like the sun rising in the morning, let's open to cactus arms. Inhale as we reach. Bringing the hands through to heart center. The weight stays on our right foot as we lift that left leg up. We're going to step back into high crescent lunge or Warrior 1. Unfurling the arms, opening to Warrior 2. Reversing our warrior, back to Warrior 2. Moving to extended side angle. We're just flowing through that and coming back to our Warrior 2. Opening, 5-pointed star, toes out, heels in, flowing through that. Bringing our hands through to heart center as we come down, rising. Coming into 5-pointed star to prepare, and then we open Warrior 2, back to the front of the mat. Reversing our warrior, Warrior 2. Side angle, Warrior 2. From here, we're going to cartwheel our hands down as we lift up that back heel, stepping back into high plank, knees plank, tabletop. Maybe you choose to hold into your plank and then move to your down dog, or maybe you want to move between plank and down dog. Maybe you want to come into your cow and cat or a traditional chaturanga, your choice. We'll meet up in our down dog. Excellent. From down dog, again, stepping, hopping, jumping, coming into our forward fold. Inhale as you rise to your half lift. Exhale, soften and fold. Inhale as you push into the earth. Feel the energy. Pull it up from the earth, coming all the way up to your fingertips. Opening to your cactus arms. Inhale as you reach. Exhale. Hands come to start heart center. Awesome. We're going to move through the same flow, but on the opposite side. So our left leg becomes our standing leg. All right, so we'll move a little more fluidly as we go. But again, you move in the way that feels good to you. So transferring to the weight to that left foot, slowly lifting that right foot up, and stepping that right foot back, Warrior 1 or high crescent lunge. Inhale as you unfurl the arms. Exhale, Warrior 2. Inhale, reverse. Moving into a side angle, back to your Warrior 2. Inhaling as we open to a 5-pointed star. Exhale, rise. Inhale, exhale. Meeting in a 5-pointed star to transition, opening up, Warrior 2. Flipping the front palm, warrior two. Side angle, warrior two. Cartwheeling the hands down, framing the front foot, lifting the back heel. All 10 toes are forward. Choosing your vinyasa, your journey to down dog. Maybe you choose a different one each time. Hello. A little goldfinch just popped by to say hi. Looking forward to your hands, taking as many steps as you like or hopping to your forward fold. Inhale as you rise to your half lift. Exhale as you soften forward fold. Inhale as you bend the knees to prepare. On the exhale, pushing into the earth, pulling all that energy up, rising. Let's open to cactus arms. Inhale as you reach high, bringing the hands through to heart center. Staying on that left side, we're going to keep that left foot grounded. We're going to lift the right foot and step back, warrior one or high crescent lunge. Unfurl the arms, warrior two. Flipping the palm, reverse warrior, warrior two. Side angle, warrior two. Opening to 5-pointed star, toes out, heels in, coming into your goddess. Transitioning from 5-pointed star, warrior two, towards the back, the front of the mat. Flipping the palm to reverse, and warrior two. Extended side angle, and warrior two. From here, cartwheeling the hands down again, transitioning into your high plank, knees plank, tabletop, whichever you prefer. Moving through your vinyasa. Meeting up in a down dog. And now from down dog, let's let our knees come to the mat, big toes to touch, coming into a child's pose. Your version, allowing your breath to soften, to set, to breathe, listening to the sounds around you. Maybe rolling the wrists a little bit to release them. And sending you lavender scent through the smell of iPhone. From your child's pose, we are going to meet back up in a tabletop to transition to our down dog. So as you're ready, tucking the toes under, sending the hips up, and back to your down dog. Awesome. Looking forward to the hands, stepping, hopping, jumping, coming into your forward fold. Inhale as you rise to your half lift. Exhale as you soften and fold. Inhale as you bend the knees to prepare. On the exhale, take that energy from the earth all the way up to your fingertips. And let's open to cactus arms. Inhale as we reach. And let's come back to hands to heart center. So we'll come through our infinity flow one more time with an addition of our reverse triangle and triangle. So if you prefer to stay with a warrior two reverse, and side angle, you can do that as well, okay? So, right foot is our standing leg, hands come to heart center. Let's inhale as we lift the left leg. Exhale, high crescent lunge or warrior one. Inhale and furl the arms to the sky. Exhale, open warrior two. From here, let's straighten the front leg, reverse triangle. Warrior two. Full triangle, warrior two, 5-pointed star, goddess, 5-pointed star, goddess, 5-pointed star. creating a 5-pointed star, transitioning, warrior 2. Straightening the front leg, reverse triangle, warrior 2. Straightening the front leg, full triangle, warrior 2. Cartwheeling the hands down, framing the front foot, moving through your journey to down dog, choosing whatever option you would like. Meeting in the down dog, looking forward to your hands, stepping, hopping, jumping, coming into your forward fold. Inhale as you rise to your half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale as you push into the earth. Take that energy and rise up through your core, opening up to the sky. Open cactus arms. Inhale as you reach. Bringing the hands through to heart center. Left leg lifts. Steps back. Unfurl the arms. Warrior 2. Reverse triangle. Warrior 2. Full triangle. Warrior 2. Opening up to 5-pointed star. Coming to goddess. Five-pointed star. Warrior 2. Front of the mat. Flipping the palm to reverse. Warrior 2. Let's straighten that front leg for the reverse triangle. I forgot about that. And warrior 2. Straightening the front leg, coming into our full triangle. And warrior 2. From here, cartwheeling the hands down, framing the front foot, stepping back into your high plank, knees plank, tabletop. Maybe you do a cow and cat. Your option. Meeting in our down dog. Finding that journey to down dog that feels the best for you. Or maybe you come to down dog right away and hang out here and feel the energy in your feet and your hands coming up from the earth. So back in our down dog, let's take as many steps as we'd like, coming into our forward fold. Inhale as we rise, half lift. Exhale as we soften, forward fold. Inhale as we connect our feet to the earth. Exhale as we push off, taking that energy up through our fingertips. And opening cactus arms. Inhale as we reach, bringing the hands through to heart center. Let's take a breath here before we start on the opposite side. And allow our senses to find the smells, the sights, the sounds, or the smells, sights, and sounds we're bringing up in our memory to find that beauty around us. And here we go. This time with our left leg being the standing leg, we're going to lift that right leg, stepping back, warrior 1 or high crescent lunge. Unfurl the arms, warrior 2. Reverse triangle. Warrior 2. Extended triangle. Warrior 2. 5-pointed star. Meeting in our 5-pointed star. Warrior 2. Towards the back. Flipping the palm to reverse. Warrior 2. I did it again. Let's straighten the front leg for our reverse triangle. And back. Straighten the front leg for full triangle. And back to warrior 2. Cartwheeling the hands down, framing that front foot, choosing your journey to down dog. any option you want. Remember, you can also go through a side plank on each side. Again, this. Again, any playing that allows you to get what your body needs and come back to our down dog. Awesome. From down dog, again, taking as many steps as you'd like, coming into your forward fold. On your inhale, lengthening half lift. On your exhale, softening forward fold. Inhaling as you take in the energy from the earth. Exhaling as we tuck in and expand. And let's open cactus arms. Inhale, reach high. Hands come down and center. We take that right leg high and we step it back. High crescent lunge, warrior one. Unfurl the arms, open, warrior two. Straighten the front leg, reverse the triangle. Now I remember it. Back to warrior two. Straighten the front leg, move into your full triangle, and back to your warrior two. Then let's bring our arms up to center, 5-pointed star, adjusting our feet, adjusting our hands, opening up, and then coming into our goddess pose. Maybe bringing your mind back to your breath as you inhale to take in the energy that surrounds you. As you exhale to release what you don't need. Meeting in 5-pointed star, warrior two, towards the front of the mat. Straightening the front leg, reverse triangle, warrior two. Straightening the front leg again, and let's go full triangle. And back to our warrior two. Cartwheeling our hands down last time for our vinyasa journey. So choosing again what would feel good to you. This time we will meet in a child's pose. So if you would like to go immediately to the child's pose, you can. If you would like to move through your vinyasa and then go to the child's pose, you can. And come back. Your choice, child's pose. Maybe you like knees together or knees wide, whichever one you like. Allow yourself to come home to your breath. Come home to the sights that are around you, smells that are around you, and release for a moment. As we did earlier, maybe you bend at the elbows, bringing the palms of your hands together in more of that shark fin stretch, if that feels good. Or maybe you roll your arms out, rolling the wrists out a little bit, letting the forehead come down. And if child's pose face down doesn't feel like what you need today, you can turn right over to your back and come into the version of child's pose we did in the beginning, where we were on our back, knees were to the outsides of our rib cages. Awesome way to have that release, if that feels better for you, right? Taking a few breaths here, and then let's return to our tabletop. Taking some juicy cows and cats. Juicy is a goofy word. So as you move into your cows and cats, lifting the gaze, noticing your spine, how it feels, if there's anything you want to hold a little bit longer. And then we will meet in our tabletop position. It is getting warm out here. So from here, we are going to come in to a down dog in preparation for a pigeon pose. So if you like to use a block or a blanket for pigeon pose, you can. If you prefer pigeon pose on your back, you can start making your way to the back. I will you at first from down dog. So tucking the toes under, coming into your down dog, bringing the right leg up, and then bending that knee, bringing the right knee towards the right wrist crease, letting the left foot come where it naturally falls, okay? And then taking a moment to enjoy the full extent of pigeon pose and kind of settle ourselves between both legs so that we're neither on too much on one side or the other. Adjust myself a little bit. I'm coming off the mat. All right, and this is a great time where if you'd like, you can take that blocker blanket and you can place it under that lifted glute if that helps you center. And then as you're ready, choosing to melt down, maybe coming to your forearms if that feels good. Again, this is a spot you can have blocks under your forearms. You could have your blanket under your forearms. If you have a bolster, you could use a bolster. You can melt down to the mat with my little ant friends here running around. Be careful not to squish them. That would seem not right. And so taking some breaths here. If you prefer pigeon on your back, maybe you're already there. Otherwise, coming to your back, moving into this figure 4 position, maybe pushing that thigh away if that feels good before you choose to take a bind. Maybe not taking a bind. If you like that foot on the ground and you want to stay right here, you stay here. Again, one option is to push the right thigh away a little bit, or you might take a bind holding on behind the knee, or for some people, maybe holding on towards the front. Again, it just depends on what feels good to you. If you're by a wall, you could be pushing that lifted foot against the wall. Again, just choosing, I know I say that probably too many times, choosing what feels good. Taking a few more breaths, reconnecting to the beauty that surrounds you. Beauty in the smallest things. Industriousness, which I'm saying that right, of the ants that are running underneath me right now. I think I'm intruding on their workspace. All right, getting ready to come out of our pigeon. We're going to bring our hands back underneath our shoulders. Excellent. If you have that block, you could remove that block now. Tuck your toes under and just make your way back to your down dog. Maybe pedaling out for a minute before we switch sides. If you're on your back, this is where you can release that bind. And maybe you choose to windshield wiper your feet a little bit before you transition. Or if you're ready to transition, you can do that. Remove my ant friends so I don't squish them. All right, from here, we're going to take the left leg high and just hug that knee in, bringing it towards the right wrist. All right, I'm going to walk the left leg back so the heel is up towards the sky, not rotating open. And then again, I might take the block or a blanket and I might just place that under the glute to help me stay centered. And as I'm ready, soften down. Again, whatever level you'd like to. Maybe your hands are on blocks. Maybe you release your head a little bit. That feels good. If you're on your back, you've transitioned to the other side. Coming back to your breath. Noticing if there's any tension or any holding in muscles that you want to release. And maybe as you take your exhale, you send that tension right out, free it up, uninvited. dog, bringing those hands back underneath your shoulders. Maybe staying in the back bend a minute, removing your block. You can even add, always in a pigeon, you can add that quad stretch, bending the knee, reaching back with one hand or the other, depending on how much of a twist you want. Or if you're ready, just tuck your toes under, come back to your down dog. Pedaling that out a little bit. And hello, Twix. Our visitors. Actually, I've had a couple visitors. Our golden retriever has been curled up a little ways away the whole time. And then this is our cat, Twix. So, Twix, say hello to everybody. All right, from here, we're gonna let the knees come to the mat. Coming into our child's pose. Again, if you're on your back, maybe you wanna stay on your back and move into your child's pose from your back. And just keep those knees wide, big toes to touch. All right, if you're in child's pose, facing the mat, maybe you want to walk your hands to one side for a little side stretch, and back through center to the other side. Just options. If you're on your back and you want to experiment with that child's pose, so to speak, I'm just bringing the knees outside of my chest. I'm allowing the tailbone to reach towards the mat. The toes are coming towards each other and just softening. So whichever version you prefer. So now I have a cat and a dog, both supervised, which is awesome. Excellent. All right, if you are on child's pose, facing down, we're gonna come back to our tabletop, bring our knees in and sweep them around as we get ready for a few stretches before we release into your version of a Shavasana. So coming to your mat, legs are long in front of you. And if you know you'd like to be on your back for Shavasana, this is a great time. If you like to use a blanket, if you like to use a block, supported bridge, great time to get those things ready. And then we're just gonna come to seated, maybe bending the feet if we'd like to lower that way, or bending the knees, I should say, or keeping the legs long. Spine is long. We're gonna bring the arms out in front of us, inhaling as we prepare, and on the exhale, hugging in all that energy, all that strength that's inside of us as we lower down to the mat. Again, you can bend your knees if you prefer. And then once down on the mat, reposition yourself if you've run out of mat. And then let's go right back to where we started from, reaching the arms long overhead, that full body stretch. Perhaps isolating as you reach right arm, right leg, stretching, stretching. And then coming back to center, maybe reach left leg, stretching, stretching, stretching. And back to center, and then maybe both arms, both legs. Excellent, coming back to center. From here, we're coming right back to where we started in the beginning with some of our stretches. So we're gonna move into a few bridge poses. So with the arms long and relaxed, if that feels good, or you can even bend at the elbows with palms facing each other. We're just gonna move through a few bridges. Maybe you choose to do one and then you nestle your shoulder blades in and interlace your hands and just hold here in the bridge for a moment. Or maybe you prefer moving through the rolling bridge, bringing the arms overhead. Whichever you prefer, let's release the spine, the hips down to the mat. Bringing both knees in. And we're gonna hug the right knee in as we send the left leg high. Again, we're gonna roll the ankle, pointing and flexing, maybe rolling in both directions. And then let's add that hamstring stretch. So just let the foot come to stillness. And maybe you hold behind the thigh or behind the calf. Just a gentle stretch. Neck is long and released. And then bringing both hands to the right knee. Let's take a slow inhale. And on the exhale, lowering the left leg down. With this right knee, we're going to open that to a tree pose, a grounded tree pose. Maybe adding cactus arms as we breathe. The sole of that right foot is just loosely on the inner thigh. I happen to have a block that just fell underneath my knee, but you could certainly add a block underneath your knee for support if you like. Breathe in. And let's bring that knee in. Let's bring the other knee in. Both knees come in. And this time we send the right leg to the sky. Rolling out the ankle. Pointing and flexing. Beginning to really release in our body. Maybe you're even softening your gaze. Closing your eyes. Or maybe your eyes are wide open, taking in the beauty around you. Awesome. Let's add that little hamstring stretch, just a gentle stretch again. Hugging the left knee. Let's take a slow inhale if you wish. And on your exhale, lower that leg to the mat. Allowing the left knee to open into tree pose as the sole of the left leg, foot comes to wherever you prefer. It can be high, it can be low, completely up to you. Opening the chest with our cactus arms, breathing. Bringing that knee back center, bringing both knees in, gentle hug or knees to the outside of the rib cage again if that space feels good. Moving into our spinal twist, so we're going to bring our feet to bridge position. Excellent. So from here, let's lift up the hips, moving them to the right a few inches. Letting them rest down, extending the left leg long, bending the right knee across midline. That right arm can go out to the side. You can even turn to look to gaze at that if you'd like, or keep your gaze centered. And again, finding the feel that works well. Breathing. Both knees, reset your spine. Maybe take a deep inhale and exhale there. And then pick up the hips, shimmy them to the left. Let the right leg go long, and we're going to let the left knee just cross over. Finding that sweet spot for your spinal twist. Again, maybe you look towards your left arm if that feels good. Or straight up to the sky. Breathing. Softening. pulling any tension. As we return back to center, bending both knees, resetting your spine. A couple options here. Maybe you want a windshield wiper a little more. Maybe you want a little more of that side to side. Maybe you're ready to transition to a happy baby. If that's a position you enjoy, bringing the arms to the soles of the feet, perhaps pulling the knees more towards the armpits, or maybe like a wider happy baby with a little more space, where our hands come to the backs of our backs of our thighs. Maybe you want to be in stillness, or perhaps moving into a supported bridge by picking the hips up and placing the block underneath and just releasing into the earth. So just like we have that playtime in our vinyasa, that it looks different for all of us, these last few poses, I think, before Shavasana, same thing, make them your own. Maybe you like this supported bridge. Maybe you want to stretch both arms and both legs in the supported bridge, legs up the wall. Again, just deciding what feels good for you. As you find those last poses, those last bits of release that allow you to soften down to the earth, to feel the energy from the earth, to feel supported on the mat, in the earth. So as you're ready, transitioning from the last poses into your Shavasana pose. So maybe that is laying down, long arms, long legs. Maybe you've heel-toed your feet. Maybe the knees are bent and you like to heel-toe your feet to the edges of the mat and let the knees come towards each other. Maybe you're a person who likes to be in seated Shavasana, or maybe depending on where you are right now, your most comfortable spot is seated in some ways. So just finding your Shavasana, your time to release, to reset, to re-energize as we take the energy and the beauty of the practice and let it absorb into our body as we spend a few minutes here in Shavasana. sending that beauty out to all of you. May the sun bring you new energy by day. May the moon softly restore you by night. May the rain wash away your worries, and may the breezes blow new strength into your being. May you walk gently through this earth and know its beauty.